Fuse box back on Magnum Quest, and today I'm going to go over another hero. I want to talk about Fane. He's a tanky kind of survival hero that's in the nature faction, but it's going to be a 2-for-1 because he comes with I want to talk about the auto lock feature for single target single hero skill auto. If you turn this on, he's one of the characters that you're really going to want to be able to, you're going to want to run auto, but there are times you don't want him using his special. So we'll get into that and why it's so important for certain characters. So let's talk about him and why that little button being turned on is so important. Fair. All right. This dude's great. He's a part of the nature faction, which is good because you're going to, a lot of the heroes that you're probably going to be using right off the bat are going to be wild and nature. At least in my opinion, they're the best ones to get going, start building up quickly. But if you happen to get him, he can absolutely stand beside your Ares or be your front line for your Gaia, the goat girl, to make things really go smooth and help you do a lot more damage. So how does he do that? His regular attack just does attack to all the enemies in front of him, which is good. There's an area of effect there, and he will play into that in just a minute. You can increase that as you level up, and then eventually he'll reduce their defense by 25%, which is great because your damage dealers are going to do more damage to those heroes that are grouped up in front of him, and their defense is broken. And then we'll look at his ultimate here in a minute. Also, when he's attacked, he has a chance to block incoming damage just flat out, which is much like a dodge. But as you increase this, he'll end up doing 150% of his attack damage to the attacker when he does get a block, and his chance of blocking goes up to 20% eventually as you level him up. So he's got the chance to block, doing some damage. He's lowering their defense, causing everyone else to do more damage. The AoE attack is nice. And then also, this one, Fatal Attraction, actually gravitates enemies in towards him, which is amazing when you have Gaia in the back lines doing her splash AoE damage. It'll start to hit them all. If you do have somebody like Ares or somebody who does a fanned attack like Fair here, it'll group them up, making sure you're hitting as many as possible. He's breaking their defense while you do it. This also taunts them, which means they're going to effectively only target him for 7 seconds, and they will reduce their attack by 60%, making him super tanky for those 7 seconds while they're attacking him. As well as breaking their defense. And then of course you will be able to upgrade this to where he has a double chance of blocking damage, which is super cool too. Now his ultimate skill is useful, but all right, so what it does, it says it charges up quickly and then it releases a shockwave. It does damage to the enemies in front of him. It knocks them down, which is actually a knock back, which is key here, and it stuns them. Which is a good move. Stunning everybody in front of him can definitely be clutch. He gains immunity to all control spells during this time. You can increase his damage as you level up, and then eventually he'll gain tough skin, which reduces incoming damage by 30%, making him even more of a tank. The problem with this skill is if he does use that ability to pull everyone in, that Fatal Attraction, and he gets them all grouped up, and then quickly uses Divine Shield, he just knocks them right back out to where you're not getting that big AoE splash damage. But you can use the feature I showed you where you individually choose who's running on auto, and let's just kind of see how this works. I don't know exactly I don't know if I'm stuck or not yet, but what we're going to do, I know he's on my team. All right, so we've got Gaia in the back lines. Let me just put in a support champion. We've got Gaia here in the back lines ready to do splash damage. If he can get at least 4 of these grouped up in front of him, it's going to increase her damage output quite a bit. Plus he takes their defense down. And then we've got Ares going to come in doing his whirlwind attack, and he'll be attacking all those enemies as well. But that will not happen if he uses his ultimate skill that knocks them all back and stuns them. So we want to save that stun for a key moment. You see I have him turned off right here. So he's already got people grouped up. We want to wait until Ares and Gaia are going crazy on that group of enemies, and then we'll just use this manually, this one button, when we feel like right here. If we want to stop them, stun them, knock them back, if there's any emergency moment where you just want to kind of stop the incoming damage, use it then. He's actually going to be more effective most of the time if you just turn him off. So You could use this on many other heroes that have special moves that you don't like, a healer that you don't want to heal until it's time. So other places that you might need to use that. Now, Fair obviously has an amazing use in getting damage. I use this mostly in my trials and in the actual campaign mode, just going through there. But it could work. It could work out in the dungeons and stuff. You just might, you know, there are times where you're not really worried about grouping them up. You're more worried about actual support champions, somebody like Arthur in his spot to just protect your team while you're going through. But other places you might want to use that auto feature where you choose who's on auto and who's not. Would be back to the bosses. We just talked about some bosses. This guy right here. When you go up against this guy, let's just go in here. He's notoriously bad about eating. He's going to swallow up your main hero. And a lot of times he swallows up my Ares right after Ares starts to do his whirlwind attack, which means he stops that attack and I lose the entire benefit of doing that amount of damage from Ares. So this is a case where I might actually, I think we're going to try to speed our team up, probably do a little better. Let me throw in a haste buffer. So all I'll do is, this gives me the ability to turn off. Oh, I left the cinema on. I can turn off Ares by clicking that button, and you'll notice he's about to set off his special right there, but he gets swallowed up right here. I would have lost that whole special. I can turn him back on now. And then when he comes back down, if the worm ever spits me out, he'll be ready to use his special right here. And I'm going to go ahead and get the full benefit of him using his special. So there are times where I know you don't want to manual through this game. It's a really well-made game, but being able to turn one or two off until that key moment that you need them can change absolutely everything. So I just wanted to kind of go over that while I'm going over the benefits of having Fane on your team. An excellent tank. He can hold up to a lot of damage. You saw him standing there toe-to-toe with 4 men in front of him. He's even taunting them. He's so tough, right? But he's grouping them up, and not only is he absorbing that damage, but we're getting a ton of damage out of Gaia and Ares because they're just sitting there in a tight little group ready to be destroyed. So hopefully, if you've got Fane, you now know how to use him. And hopefully that little tip on using the manual auto kind of separated deal, one more time, in case you didn't catch it, where you go to turn that on is click on your portrait here, go to game settings, single heroes, skill auto. Basically, it lets you choose who's going to be auto and who's not. Makes your life so much easier when you do have a character like him who can actually contradict himself. And it's not that the stun isn't great, but you can choose when to use the stun by clicking his portrait after he's lit up well into the fight when you need it, and otherwise keep everybody grouped up tight so you're doing more damage. I hope this helps you. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, sub, like. I appreciate all, Also, if you play Raid or are interested in Raid Shadow Legends, I've got a channel. Go check that out. I've been playing it for a while. It's definitely one of my favorite games. But this game is quickly taking over for me too. So thanks for the support. And until next time, enjoy the grind.